This isn't an easy decision for you, I'm sure. So how long have you been thinking about this?
Well, let me start this way. I'll give you a little background. I came up here on a 4-month contract and fell in love with all of it. The ownership, management, players, the staff, the city, the fans, the snow, the cold, and found a home. A wonderful place, and I love this place. I love this team. And that's the driver, Paul, and how I got here today. So this is a good team. I'm a good coach. But sometimes when you take over a team and it's kind of like you're starting at the bottom of a mountain and you're pushing a rock up to the top, you can only get it to a certain place. And that's where I feel I'm at. And if you would allow me some arrogance, I would say that I'm better positioned than anyone to know that they need a new voice. They haven't quit on me. They're a good bunch of men. My relationship is strong with all of them, and I'm cheering for them. I am. But when you have a 26-year professional hockey coaching career, you know they need a new voice. They need somebody to help them get to that next place. It doesn't need to be a more experienced, necessarily more talented guy. It needs to be a different voice because it's the right time for it, and I know that.
What was your first sign, though, Paul? Like, was this been building over the course of a week?
Well, there's more. I'll just finish this. The second piece to this is kind of personal, professional. Going back to the bubble, to the lockout year, Paul, I didn't enjoy it. And that's the very first time in my career I can say I didn't enjoy coming to the rink. And I thought that maybe it was all of what was going on. And then I got fired up. Chevy did it again. He got those 2D and you get fired up. And if you lose some of that passion for the game, the love of the game, you can still be good, but you can't be as good as you should be or you could be. And that's how I feel I am. So this is where I'm at today. I think the day that I got hired here was a really, really good day for the Winnipeg Jets, and it was a really, really good day for me. And I feel exactly the same way today. This is a good day. This is a good team. They've got a great fan base. They love their players and their team. And I'm cheering for these guys. Like, I love these guys. I love this place. I know that it's time. And that's a good thing for the Jets. It's also a really, really good thing for me.
Paul, do you feel then the club, in your mind, has underperformed this season?
I think it can do better. One of you asked me a question the other day about inconsistency, and I kind of bristled at it. And I didn't finish it. I always tell you the truth. I just don't necessarily go into details. I think we've been very consistent. We're just under where we could be. We've been consistently under where we could be.
Was there and I'm sorry if I missed the start, was there a...
It was really good, Paul. It
Sure
was magical.
Sure it was. Was there a, I don't know if the last straw is the right term, but was there
No. Mark and Kevin and I spoke last summer about what I was dealing with. Asking that question, am I the right guy going forward? It's really important to me for that to be true. Because if not, you're just taking a paycheck and it's about your own career. And I don't think I've ever been about that in my career, but I'm certainly past that now. There wasn't a last straw this was 100% my decision. And because I believe because Kevin and Mark and I had talked about it at length last summer, they understood it and accepted it and were positive about it. We have a deep friendship with these men, and it's really important that I do the right thing by that friendship as well, and I would have ground and just grind and try to make it better, but I believe they need a new voice. I do.
So they stopped listening?
No, they kept listening. The message has got to change to be delivered a different way. It's what happens to us, right? The only guy who's been with the team longer than me is John Cooper, and he's won 2, and you need to. You need to after 8, 9 years. get the team to that place. Or you need to do what I did. Take them from what I think is a bottom 10 situation and move them to a top 10 situation and be proud of that. And I am. I truly am. This is me having a very unique position to view all things and to understand with my experience what I'm seeing. They're trying. They're doing what I ask them to do. They need to get to a different level, and they're capable of it. This team is capable of it, and it's going to be capable. Well, Lord knows I would have done it 3 years ago, right? It becomes from you push. I guess I would suggest maybe it's the law of diminishing returns. You push the button the first time, you get a huge kick for it. 8 years later, and you can buy a whole bunch of different buttons. They need a different voice.
I'll just sort of to follow that up. I mean, was there any reason for the timing, say today, as opposed to 2 weeks ago or 2 weeks from now? I mean, and on sort of Freezer's question, like, if you guys win the last 2 games, are we even having this discussion today?
Well, that happened a couple times. Yeah, we won a few. Got off to a tough couple games, fine. This is a far longer runway on this than a loss to Buffalo, fellas. It's Jamie Compound's returning today. That makes it possible.
I wanted to ask, I had meant to ask you that at some point anyways, about just Jamie's absence and how that, I mean, we know how it affects.
Yeah, I mean, it was absence. I was on the phone with him 4 hours a day. The man won't shut up. So, no, I mean, he was involved in many, many ways with our group, and that he was here when I had this conversation with Mark and Kevin in the summertime. So this is a long build. I just felt I had done well and done my best. And I truly do love these guys. And I'm looking at them going like you'd like one of your kids going, you need to fix something here. And it's me. I'm not embarrassed by it. I'm tremendously proud of the work that we've done here. And I get to stay that way. I'm not going to be looking back 2 months from now going, you knew you should have stepped aside and you didn't, and that's wrong. I get to at least feel I've done it right.
Did you try this sooner?
I'm sorry?
Did you try this sooner and Mark said no?
No. The relationship is not like that. We talk and we listen, and I felt I had a great summer, changed a bunch of things about training camp. It just, I couldn't find the right grab on this team, and you could see it in the way we played. Yeah, they played hard, but so much of this game is emotion and drive, and as the head coach, you have to bring that. And it was just a really small return for that energy. And that's why coaches get changed.
Your players know already,
I'm
Paul?
sorry.
Sorry.
I was just going to say, what's going on in here right now?
I feel good. I feel good. I don't have a game to coach tonight, and I don't have to get a job tomorrow. And in 26 years, it's probably the first time I could say that.
When did you talk to the players? Did you talk to a lot of them as a group, one-on-one, or is this?
No, all of them together. I had a brief conversation with Blake when he came in this morning. I felt I owed that to him, and then I spoke to them all as a group.
Well, do you feel like you just need, I mean, given how much you love coaching, do you just need a break, or have you reached the coaching end, or?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't. I would tell you that you're a performer just like the player, and you have to be at your best, and I'm a pretty honest critique of my performance. I am. Maybe sometimes a little too critical with it, but I'm honest about it with myself. And the only way I would step back again is if I felt I could be even better than I was before, and that's not today. And I'm not going to be working beside you anytime soon, Weaver. Your job's safe, my friend. You're good.
Well, how did Blake and the players react?
Blake was great. We have a deep relationship built on great respect for each other's performance. I think he knows that I've pushed as hard as I could for as long as I could. I know he knows that, and I feel that he has as well. So there was a handshake and a nod and an understanding.
Think he was surprised though?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, I think they all were, in truth, because I don't think that I never walked into the room and didn't feel like I had their attention. Look at it. You can see it from the stands maybe, and you can see it in pieces, but I'm in that room every day and I move around them. And this wasn't as, I'm looking at that team and I like it. And coming into the year, and I think it has a lot to do with the last 2 years of me not loving coming to the rink as much as I need to love to come to the rink, and I always have, even when things were shitty with bad teams. Sorry about that. I love coming to the rink, and it was more of a grind for me. And this fan base, this city, these players, all of you should expect more than that. You deserve better than that. I'm not embarrassed by it. I'm not at all. I'm got a lot of games in, and I've lived every one of them, and I've enjoyed them. But I stopped enjoying them as much. The wins were twice as hard. That's when I felt it. But that was just such an odd thing that you just thought it was just an odd thing. But last year was a tough year. No fans. Like, what's the point, right? Like and then this actually, I guess maybe this isn't necessarily a bunch of negative things that stacked up on this. This was, I've pushed as hard and as long as I can here. I love these guys. They need a new voice. And I know that.
Paul, when you've been fired before, you have to build up emotional scar tissue. How has going through that in the past maybe prepared you for the acceptance of making this kind of decision?
It no longer becomes a personal failure. When you get fired, that's the way you take it. And then you look around and watch everybody else going down too, and then you understand that it's part of the job. There is a shelf life for what we do. The only way that shelf life gets extended is if you can win championships. You need to win. And over a period of time, what I'm proud of is it wasn't an off-the-cliff moment that the team just went right into the tank and quit playing. None of my teams have ever done that. They stayed in the fight. I just didn't want to watch those guys fight for the rest of the year when I think they could be better with somebody else.
Paul, over your time here, you've shown the pretty good knack of when a team is kind of fallen off. You have an idea of why it is, you fix it, and it seemed to really earn trust from your players in your message, even the losing streak you went on last year. It started to feel like, I don't know, after that losing streak or maybe this year, that the fix would come and then things would kind of fall apart a little bit quicker. Is there an explanation for that? Does that have something to do with where we are today?
Yeah, that's a big piece of that. It's the law of diminishing returns. You can fire the engine up again, but it just doesn't stay running quite as long, right? It's just, it's why coaches get changed.
Well, you're obviously a hockey lifer. Have you thought about another role in this sport other than coaching, like something in management, and is that a possibility down the road?
Yeah, you know what? For the most part, I think that at the NHL level, you have to have built an expertise to come in and be good in any job. All of these jobs are tougher than we all know, right? So to be a good assistant general manager, you have to have, in my mind, built through that. I would tell you now that if I was going to put that kind of time into anything, it would be coaching, because I have an expertise in it. The fact that I don't know a whole bunch of these answers, I'm okay with.
We know what the Jets have meant to you. The city of Winnipeg, this has been your home and your family's home. I mean, what's that decision, or how did that decision factor in and the potential of having to leave there?
It factored in a positive way. Part of my sense of responsibility isn't just to the organization, it's to the fans too. I could do a good job here. I could have continued. I just would have known it wasn't right. And I don't want to do that. I don't have to do that anymore. I'm at a point in my life and my career that I don't have to do that. I think a new voice, this group, this town, is going to be great. And I don't think the window's closing. I think the opposite is true. I think they're just coming into it. So you would say, well, why would you just hang around for that and see? Just maybe. It's not right. I know it.
Would you say a younger Paul Maurice would have had to be dragged out of here kicking and screaming?
No, a younger Paul Maurice would never have survived 8 years. I've been fired a long time ago. I did a good job here. I'm proud of my work.
And is this home for the Maurice family? Like, you guys have put down roots?
I hope so. But I guess I've been leading the caravan here, the Maurice family, for a long time. I may have to maybe there'll be a new driver.
Are you leaving the organization?
For now, because I think it's a distraction then if I'm around, right? I think it's a good time. We're probably maybe even better friends today than it might have been yesterday. If that conversation comes up, it comes up, and it'll be a good one.
What can Dave offer?
We talked at length about, when Dustin left and the time of when he left, what it is, just given the problems with the net. Where you are today and talking about the last couple of years and things falling off, is there any regret that you didn't make this decision in the summertime?
No, there isn't. I came to a good understanding, I thought, of where I was at. With the changes that we did on how we run, and part of my feeling, the continuation maybe of this feeling, is that this team's not performing the way I want it to. So had we been able to do that, boom, we're off and running, and I'm energized, and I would have said that block of time is related to what everybody's gone through. So no, I felt right coming back. I felt right, but it was still there.
As far as Dave and moving forward, Jamie coming back, and Charlie and Wade, I mean, what's your feeling on the group moving forward?
Oh, they're going to do a good job. I know when I'm talking to them that they have got good ideas and good places, and they're smart, and there's good texture in the mix. There's different kinds of personalities in there. They're going to do real well. They just need to hear it a different way.
Paul, after the loss in Edmonton there, you were buzzing and we talked after, and I mean, you said you thought this team
So that's
was it. What changed, I guess, is what I'm asking from that point.
That was my expectation. That was my vision of what it could be, and it wasn't there enough. So that's where I felt I think they get back to that. But I'm not 100% sure they would have got back to that with me, so it's not right. I like this team. So that Edmonton game, for me, maybe the mini game in mini, which was just a grinder kind of game, but that Edmonton game for me that's this team. And I think I give it a chance to be that team now.
But I'm just trying to understand how you can't, like, you couldn't just bottle that. Like, for you personally, I know, like, it sounds funny, but.
Yeah, there are a couple cracks in the bottle. Old age cracks in the bottle.
Paul, you're a humble guy, so you may reject the premise of this. I'm of the opinion that one of your legacies here will be, finding the player inside a guy like Blake Wheeler that we've seen compared to what he was before you got here, and taking players like Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele and kind of turning them into everything I think the scouting staff ever would have hoped they would be. Was there kind of a message from the players when you had that conversation of I mean, is that the way they feel? Is that the way you actually feel?
I got a lot of very strong individual relationships with these players, and I think all of them are on a trajectory to get better. I think that is independent of the coach. This is a really good team, lots of firepower, lots of muscle. The driver in all of this is I'm so completely attached to these guys and this group that I know they need something different. I know it. So it became the right thing to do.
Can you put your finger on what they need different?
Well, you know what? That's not my job anymore, Paulie. I don't have to answer for yesterday's practice.
Expect the new guy to be more of a hard ass or less of a hard ass, or?
He's going to be a real good coach. It's neither. It's the right timing on all of those things. And when your timing comes off, you can hit it for a while, and when your timing is off, you miss the important coachable moments. So all brand new relationships get developed now. And that's part of better timing with players maybe that have fallen off a little bit because my timing so I'm just using the word for relationship. If my relationship is off, they all get a brand new, clean kind of slate. There's some proving that has to go on. There'll be some focus in the game tonight. There'll be some sharpness. So those were the things that we were talking about I was trying to find. So that's almost inherently built into it. And those relationships are already solid, they'll grow. This team's gonna be good.
You talked about your relationship with a lot of,
What's your legacy here, Paul?
I think I understood the Jets, where they were at, the team, the city, and I was able to embrace that and be part of it. And I think I pushed that rock pretty far up that mountain, and I'm really comfortable where I hand it off.
on the subject of relationships, you talked about the ones you have with some other coaches and mentors, Jim Rutherford, Pete DeBoer. Have you talked to them, others in the coach, as you kind of made this decision? No?
No. I sent one text to Pete DeBoer this morning. It was, I win.
Well, you took this job on an interim basis, you know. What's the biggest lesson that you learned during that time here?
The interim part of it, or the entire job?
Entirety, yeah.
Oh. That there's just a whole lot of really, really, really good people in this game. And I know we hear a lot of stories about the tough situations in this game. But I will leave with an incredible relationship with owners, management, trainers, coaches, and players like I've never before. At all levels, I'm connected to these guys like I had never been in another room before. All of them. Like, I care for every one of them. I love every one of them. I want the best for them. And I want the best for me, too. And that's why we're here today.
Boudreaux's success in Vancouver affect you, your timing?
No, I'm happy for Jimmy. Jimmy's got phenomenal timing, by the way. Hey, just the last thing. Thank all of you. I mean, we may agree or disagree, but I always felt you dealt with me professionally. I tried to do the same, but sometimes I was a bit of an ass. I get that. But thank you, because if you're going to run a team in a Canadian market, it can be a real nasty place, and I never felt it got personal. I got no problem with your opinions. Half the time I wouldn't tell you, but I thought you were right. Half the times I thought you were dead wrong. But thank you. And thank you kind of for my family too, because it all trickles down. So I appreciate it. I'll leave you with this one last thought. I've said it once before, but if you were going to start something, it was a great day when I got hired by the Jets, for the Jets and for me. And today's a great day too, for the Jets and for me as well. So thank you all very much.